I'm starting with a lot of vegetables here. These are sprouted lentils, dried lentils that I have sprouted in some water. I'm only going to use a little bit of those, not the whole bowl. And I've prepped onion and carrot, and these are the peelings from that carrot and the onion, along with some other veggie peelings. I like to gather them and save them in my freezer, and then when I get enough, I turn them into broth. So that's a really nice hack for free broth. Start with a hot pan with some oil. It's about like a teaspoon, tablespoon of oil. And that's about like a third of a peeled chopped carrot and maybe a 16th of a chopped onion. This is only for one serving, by the way. In the written out recipe in the video description, I have a version of this recipe for more people. It's very easily scalable. Just add more of everything. So about a third of a carrot per person, 16th of an onion per person. And that was a third of a pot of rice right there. The pot of rice made from 1 cup of raw rice. And you really want to stir this to coat every single kernel in oil. And it's ideal if you use leftover rice, like day old or even older than that rice, because it's going to be drier. And it's going to just, if you use fresh rice, it's going to get all gummy. So use leftover rice. And this is usually where I would add some green peas, but I'm using sprouted lentils instead. They taste quite similar than peas, and nutritionally as well. They are a legume like peas, and they complete the protein with the rice. So this is actually a pretty healthy dish, believe it or not. And there is a fair amount of protein in it. You don't have to add meat. You don't have to add eggs. This is actually vegan. I'm adding, this is an ingredient you wouldn't have if you were an extreme emergency budget person. This is oyster sauce. I love oyster sauce in my fried rice. It's also good with Chinese 5-spice or chili flakes if you've got it. But believe me, like just a dash of this oyster sauce makes such a huge difference. It makes it taste so much more authentic. If you don't have it though, just add salt. Salt is extremely cheap. But yeah, if you got oyster sauce, if you've got a few dollars to invest in a bottle of oyster sauce, it's only, a few cents worth of oyster sauce if you can afford the bottle up front, and it's well worth it if you can afford it. So, oyster sauce. And that's pretty much it. Once everything is coated and stirred together and your grains are nice and separate, just serve it up onto a plate and dig in. You can finish it off with sesame oil if you feel like splurging, but honestly, this was delicious without it. And behold, it's fried, ricey, crispy goodness. I hope you try it. It was delicious.